Welcome back, everybody, to Visionary Wellness. I am Charita Raél, the Vision Catalyst, and we are continuing our journey through season two, treating your business like a living, breathing organism, because that's exactly what it is, okay? So far we have checked your identity, your heartbeat, your voice, your daily routines, and your hidden power. We've explored so much more, so feel free to go through the playlist to check that out. But today, this is one of my favorite areas of business. Okay. And you'll start to understand why in a second. I would have to say it's in my top three. Okay. It's definitely in my top three. And today we are talking about movement. Movement, everyone. All right. So we are moving to the legs of your business, AKA your expansion. So listen real close, real close. You can have a healthy heart, you can have strong bones, but if your legs are weak, if your legs are weak, and for those who don't understand what I mean by a healthy heart, we're talking about the creativity and the connection. If you want to understand what we mean by the bones, this is all about foundation and your structure, right? So you can have those things. You can have creativity, you can have structure, but if your legs are weak, there's no movement. You're not going anywhere. You're just sitting in the same spot. You are just doing the same repetitive things and you're reaching the same people. Now, in a way, when you are in the same spot, that makes, you familiar with people. They know where to find you, know where you are. If you're doing the same things, this means consistency and reliability, right? Systems, routines. And if you're reaching the same people, great. You're just penetrating your market more. However, there has to come a time when you move, when you expand, and the legs of your business carry you further. All right. They take your message across borders. This could be borders of mindsets, borders of cultures, even the borders here in the United States. But it can also take you across oceans, which is one of the reasons why this is my first, well, one of my, okay, I told the secret. It's my favorite house. Okay. It's my first, it is the top of my list, expansion. Why? Because, and excuse me, I start to talk fast and get excited. I love international business. It's where I started. Okay. So I truly believe that our currency should be magnetizing currencies in different currencies. Okay. So I love international business. So we're talking about your legs moving you across borders, across oceans, and even into new dimensions of impact. All right. So as you all know, I have a question for you every day. And today's question is your business standing still or is it built to travel? Now I had to make some tea for this one, y'all. Okay. It's still kind of hot, but is your business standing still or is it built to travel? Are you playing local when you were assigned to be global? Now that was my slowdown in momentum, right? Playing local for a long time when I'm really meant to be global. And guess what? If you're meant to be local, there's nothing wrong with that. But just local in your neighborhood? Is it just local in your county? Could you expand into your whole city or into another city or to the whole state? Where are you going? So let's talk about how to stretch your reach without breaking your stride. Y'all like how I put that together? All right. So, why do I call expansion the legs? Here in Visionary Wellness, in our Blueprint of Brilliance, we have our own sort of vocabulary, right? We have our own frameworks. So when we talk about the legs, again, we're talking about expansion, and we pair the two because expansion is about distance and depth. Write that down. Expansion is about distance and depth. So I want to take us back to elementary school. For some of us, middle school. Okay. I want you to think about, or maybe even before that, when did you ride your first bicycle? Right? I want you to really think about that. Think about your first bicycle. All right. So it could be great for the driveway at first, right? When you're first starting to learn how to ride your bike, your parents want you to be safe. So right now, just try it out in the driveway. Most likely they did not start you out in the street. It was just, let's just see how you do in the driveway. And if it was in the street, it was pretty much close to the driveway or somewhere just in a safe space, right? But if you want to travel to the next city, you need a different set of wheels. Think about this, all right? or just simply stronger legs. So many of you have driveway businesses. I'm not putting this on you, but if we really sit with ourselves, many of us have businesses that are just in the driveway. Okay, you feel safe, which is great, but you're also playing small. So, in your business body, the house, the ninth house of the business body, the ninth area of the business body, we're talking about scaling, right? That's the first portion of this area of business. So, you're moving from one to one to work up to one to many. All right, again, scaling, moving from one to one to many. Then a part of this area is the global vision. So, seeing your business as a solution for people who don't look like you or live near you. Think about that for a second, right? I will say this when we talk about expansion in my businesses, there was always this set target market, right? You hear that a lot, especially from marketing gurus and all the things. When you are trying to understand who's going to be your customer, you have this target market. And sometimes you start to realize who you thought your target market was ends up being somebody totally different, a different kind of target market, one that you wasn't intentionally going after, but they started recognizing you. They started seeing what you're about. They started hearing your messages. They started trying your products or your services and they liked it. So now this whole new segment of people started showing up. Right? So global could be, global in the world or just global in a way that you are hitting different cultures of people. And I'm not just talking about skin tone, I'm talking about mindsets, I'm talking about likes and dislikes, right? So again, for the global vision, I want you to start seeing your business as a solution for people who don't look like you or live near you. What would that look like? The third part of this aspect is higher learning. So, this is all about wisdom and education you need to lead at a higher level. I can't stress this enough. So, one of my favorite sayings that I like to say is, I'm always a student. Some people like to consider themselves masters, which is fine, right? Master teachers or gurus, which is fine, right? We all have some kind of mastership about what we've been doing. However, I really like to say I'm a masterful student. I love learning and I know that I don't know everything. So when one is always open to wisdom and education, when you are always open to wisdom and education, you will lead at a higher level. You will just keep going up and up and up. Okay. So if your legs are weak, this may be a sign that you're afraid to stretch a little bit. And if you're afraid of the big stage, if you're afraid of the big launch or the big global partnership, maybe you should start to think about why that is, right? And here's another thing. If you are afraid to stretch, you will never reach new ground. Super important for you to get that in your mind. So you have to build the muscle of expansion before you actually start walking. This is what I talk about capacity. And I have to say this because this is so right on time. I just got off the phone with someone who started as a client and yeah we develop a friendship, but this particular person I have witnessed from you know well, always having these big international goals, even having some experience in international goals, right? And then there comes a point in life where maybe you start to doubt yourself. You allow external projections, opinions, ideas, influence to shrink you back down, right? And then it comes to a point where this person realized like, wait a second, I went back to the driveway. I had this experience of crossing borders, and for some reason, I allowed myself to go back in the driveway. What is going on, right? So there is this process of building your capacity again it's this process of strengthening your legs again so that she can leave the driveway, right? So that this person can go out back in the global market and really put their footprint where it's supposed to go. So again, you have to build the muscle of expansion before you start actually walking. If you try to expand and walk across borders before you have the capacity for it, then you'll go back to the driveway and then you'll convince yourself you wasn't ready. And that's just not, well, you're not meant for it. You may not have been ready, but it doesn't mean you're not meant for it. All right. So again, exercise the muscles, build the muscles of expansion. Okay. So let's talk about scaling your framework, scaling your product, scaling your ideas, scaling your business. This is a major focus in the Blueprint to Brilliance course, especially when we get into, you know, the products and, like I said, the offerings that you have, something that's signature to you, something that is uniquely yours, something that, even though there may be other versions of it, but there's something about yours that makes it unique. There's something about yours that make it custom and signature. Hone into that. And so I teach the visionaries that scaling isn't just about doing more. Not at all. Scaling is about efficiency of movement because you can move like all over, right? Not a problem. But if it's not efficient, then we start to experience some leakages, either it's energetic or financial. So if you think about form, right? So you kind of see how I put myself back up, straighten my spine, right? If you walk with bad form, and we see this a lot, even every day in our own physical bodies. If you're walking hunched over, you're going to hurt your back. If you're, I don't know, just walking in a way that, you're walking with your ankles a certain way, your feet twisted in a certain direction, it's going to hurt your knees, it's going to hurt your ankles. We don't want that. We want to walk in straight form. We want our legs to walk in a way that makes it more efficient for us to get to the place where we need to go. So if you scale with bad systems, you will hurt your business. If you scale with systems or lack of systems that, again, cannot hold the abundance that expansion brings, it will hurt your business. So, inside of the deep dive, inside of the journey, we look at expansion capacity. Everybody write that down. What is my expansion capacity, right? So, I want us to kind of just imagine a little bit, explore these possibilities. I want you to think about if this is your desire, right? And you could put the words in however you need to put the words in. Let's think about a global message, right? Is your message portable? Can it travel without you being there to explain it? I want you to think about that. It kind of goes back to what I described in previous episodes about having a business versus a profitable job. Can your business sustain itself if you're not physically involved? It's the same thing with your message. Is your message portable? Does it cross boundaries and borders and thresholds? Can it travel without you being there to explain it? All right. The second thing we're going to look at is strategic scaling. Write that down to strategic scaling. This is where we're going to move from manual labor. And this is what we talked about in our other episode when we talked about the area of our business that deals with the hands, right? We move from manual labor to systematic momentum. Okay. Now, the third, education as fuel. I don't know about you all, but I love learning. Like, take me to a bookstore. I'm not going to give the name, but take me to a bookstore. Take me somewhere where there's so many brilliant minds that's just sharing all of their philosophy and their wisdom and their experience and facts. And I'm there like all day from opening to close. I absolutely love it. So when we think about education as fuel, especially for those of us who have a desire to expand an international business. You cannot lead a global movement with a local mindset. Oh, that's so potent. You have to invest in the higher learning that expands your own brain so that you can expand your business. Let me tell you a testimonial. So, one of the things that I was so grateful to experience when I was traveling abroad, when I was traveling across oceans, is again, I'm coming in and I'm going to, and I may lose some followers for this. That's fine. But even when I was traveling to the continent of Africa, okay, even though we look the same, even though, when you go far, far back enough, because I very much, okay, even when you go far, far back enough, I understand my connection. However, it's still very possible to go there with a colonizer's mindset. Okay, thinking that my way is better, thinking that I know more than they do, thinking all these things, right? Um, or the way that things work here in America, as far as business, as far as systems, as far as processes, is automatically going to work over there because it worked over here. Absolutely not. Okay. Cultural competency is a real thing. You cannot expand globally. You can't expand in any form if you have not educated yourself about the new space that you're going into. Okay, you do not want to have a colonizer's mindset when it comes to your business, when it comes to expansion. You cannot go into the next level of expansion thinking that, excuse me, that the current mindset and systems that you have will automatically work. Everything is not always transferable. Okay. So again, you have to invest in higher learning. I don't care if it's a class, if it's mentorship, if it's just you going to do research, right? You have to invest in higher learning that expands your own brain so you can expand your business. So if you're tired of being the only thing moving, like, and when I say the only thing moving, I mean the only thing moving the business forward, the business can't move forward if you don't move. It's because you have not built the legs of your framework to carry the weight for you. Now I'm going to sip my tea. Okay, sink that in for a second. All right. So again, this is super important to know that your legs will carry the framework. It's going to carry the weight for you, okay? So, now let's get into a little bit of strategy. Okay, the Horizon audit. I like audits, okay? It's a good time to really see what we may have been ignoring or just wasn't aware of and then bring it to light so we can address it. So I want you to look at your current business reach and ask these three questions. Now go get your pen and pad if you have not got it already and write this down, okay? Question number one, am I standing still? That means, have I been serving the same 50 people for the last 3 years, or am I actively reaching for new ground? Ask yourself this. Okay. Number two, can my business walk without me? Meaning, if I stopped walking, meaning I stopped doing the manual work, does the business have legs, which means systems and frameworks, to keep it moving forward? Be honest with yourself again. It's just you and you. I mean, I'm here with you, but I can't hear you. Okay. So tell the truth to yourself. Super important. Number three, what is my global why? So, why does a person halfway across the world need your vision? And if you can't answer that, your vision is too small. Now, here's the thing. If you're okay with your vision being small, okay. For those of you who are here for the expansion, who are here for the global reach, to who are here to expand beyond your norm, these questions are definitely for you. All right. So to move from an entrepreneur to a global visionary, you have to stop looking at your feet only and start looking at the horizon. You have to trust that your legs are strong enough to carry the weight of your purpose. This is really important. And when you master this area in life, your business stops being a job and starts being a legacy in motion. I cannot stress this enough. When I was honored to get flown out, if that's the right way, excuse my English, y'all. When I was honored to be able to accompany some brilliant minds in their global vision, and in some instances, even become a partner, it was one of the best experiences I've ever had. It was, and I'll say this just for the purpose of saying it. For those of you who may not have traveled beyond the area that you're in, I'm going to encourage you to travel. I'm going to encourage you to travel to a new city, to a new state, to a new country. And it may not be to start a business there, but you will get to see environments and cultures and hear conversations and witness things that can inspire you to build your business better right where you are, right? Traveling expanding brings about so many benefits. It helps you become more creative. It helps you innovate. It helps you be proactive in what your market is going to do. Your travel opens up parts of you that you may not have known existed. It inspires you, it empowers you, it relaxes you, it re-energizes you, it resets you in so many ways. So again, even if your path is not to be an international business owner, traveling outside of your comfort zone, even if it's the person who's been in their city that they've been born and raised in for all 30 years of their life. Maybe the nearest town they traveled to is maybe an hour outside. Go to a different state, go to a different coast, and you're going to see things you like. You may see things that you don't like, right? Nonetheless, the experience builds your muscle of capacity. It builds your muscle of capacity. And I will say, when I had the honor to travel to, and this is just all throughout my life, some of this was just like personal family, some of this was business. But when I talk about out of the country, there was Germany, there was Turkey, there was Ghana, there was Kenya, there was Jamaica, there was Mexico, right? And even I will say this, even though Hawaii is considered a part of the United States, to me that is a foreign country. Okay, it's a foreign country, total different vibe than just the regular United States, right? Oh, Paris, Amsterdam, okay? Um, Going to those different places in the world not only gave me insight and empowerment and inspiration, but it really stretched me in regards to my cultural competency. It stretched me in the sense of, being able to connect with people where we may not be speak the same verbal language, but we're able to communicate in other ways that resonate. Now, out of all of the things that I've learned traveling, I was able to take those lessons. I was able to leverage those experiences and bring them back to my business and how I show up and the people that I reach and who I'm attracting and magnetizing. Such a beautiful experience, right? So I want to be very clear when I say this. You were, you are designed for more than just your current zip code, whatever that means to you, figuratively or literally speaking, okay? Your business has a global heartbeat. At the end of the day, it's part of a bigger ecosystem, okay? And it's time to give it the legs to reach the people waiting for you. Because here's the thing, sometimes your audience will outgrow you if you stay where you are, right? So expansion just means staying current, staying relevant in many ways, not just staying the same person, because then, like I said, your audience will outgrow you. Now, sure, will you get in new audience members? Absolutely. But expansion even goes to your internal systems. If it's 2025 and you're still using systems and doing things the way you did in 1985, well, you may not even be in business still. There may be some niche businesses that can, have steadfast, but they're not expanding to the capacity that they really could had they have expanded not only their reach, but their minds and their systems and their approaches to things, right? So, an action step for you is go to your business body workbook and look at the area of expansion, okay? And as always, I want you to rate your scale from 1 to 10 and really be honest with yourself. Have you been standing still, or is it time to start walking? Really ask yourself that, okay? So, if you are ready to build your signature framework that allows your business to travel the world, to cross borders, to cross cultures, to cross, all the things, to cross boundaries, okay, in a good way, you definitely want to increase that capacity, you definitely want to take a look at your legs, okay? And as always, you are more than welcome into the Blueprints of Brilliance course, okay, where we will build your legs together. We'll make them stronger, all right? So again, if you have not already, click the link in the description to get your free business body audit. All right. We have to have these real reflections and conversations with ourselves so that we can know how to do better. And let's see how far your vision is actually prepared to go. All right. So again, family, I am Charita Raél, the Vision Catalyst, where we are trading small circles for global impact. So as always, stay aligned, stay empowered, and I will see you in the next episode.